Soldiers, sailors, airmen and women enlist in the armed forces for many reasons, including a sense of duty, patriotism, the adventure, travel, and adrenaline. When service members are injured or wounded and can no longer perform their military duties, they quickly find themselves removed from their team, no longer serving the purpose for which they trained.
I came back from Afghanistan in 2013, and it was kind of a trial and error of finding out, after the military, what's next in life.
Motorsports offers an opportunity to regain that sense of identity within a safe, fast-paced team environment, providing a renewed sense of purpose. Like in the military, in motorsports, the goal is in accomplishing the mission, winning as a team, collectively celebrating the successes and supporting teammates through the losses. Operation Motorsport also offers virtual engagements and recovery opportunities through an iRacing league, engaging beneficiaries in a safe, competitive environment from the comfort and safety of their home. Operation Motorsport believes in the power of team, identity, and purpose.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the fourth round of the fourth season of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing League by RECARO, live from iRacing's virtual circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name's Justin Prince. Joined inside the booth once more is Rachel Whiteford. Our producer this evening is Ryan Bauer. Ryan is using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Tonight's action in this series is brought to you by RECARO. Whether it's on the track or iRacing, RECARO Automotive is all about making the driving safer, more comfortable, and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. RECARO Automotive puts people first every time. An ergonomic seating position means a comfortable position. With perfect seating contours and innovative features that support your body, RECARO Automotive makes driving fun, be it on the road or on the racetrack. RECARO Automotive performance seats are more than just a set of components. They extrude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. For more information, visit their website at www.recaro-automotive.com. RECARO Automotive is proud to support Operation eMotorsports iRacing. Tonight's presenting partner for this round is DeWitt Autosport. For more information, visit their website at DeWittAutosport.com. Stay tuned for a special interview with team principal Travis Hill. To start things off tonight, Rachel, we're in Quebec tonight. at one of the more beautiful racetracks in all the world, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it just so happens that today would have been the 72nd birthday of the benefactor of this track and which it's named, Rachel.
Absolutely is, of course, and we are located here at Parc Jean Drapeau in Montreal, Quebec, and this is situated beautifully in the middle of the St. Lawrence Seaway here in Montreal, Quebec. This track is 4.361 kilometers inland. We are in Canada, of course, and its current layout is as of 2002. This track comprises of a grand total of 13 turns, and the original layout opened in 1978 after the World Fair happened in Canada. In fact, that is what most of the great, beautiful architectural pieces on this island are actually from, the World Fair that occurred in Montreal. But this track is synonymous with amazing racing, whether it is NASCAR, Formula One, or in this case, multi-class endurance racing, or endurance type racing, I should say. This track, of course, does have a very famous wall, Justin, doesn't it? Maybe that will be tonight's winner. Who knows?
You definitely don't want to end up being that driver, though, who ends up destroying their car with the wall of champions. That's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on for these respective drivers tonight. Now, speaking of things, early this week, our team here at Podium Esports had the chance to speak with Travis Hill, the co-founder and team principal for Two With Autosport. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Good evening. At this time, we'd like to welcome to the booth Travis Hill. He is the co-founder and team principal at Tooth Autosport. Travis, please explain your role at Tooth as a co-founder and team principal.
Well, Tooth Autosport stands for Trevor Hill and Travis Hill, and that's myself and my brother Trevor who co-founded the business. Trevor takes care of our technical direction within the shop, managing our shop, a lot of our techs and various technical needs for different programs, while I take care of driver development side of things, program creation for our drivers, membership, and then fortunately get to do some of the driving duties in a few of the cars as well.
That's fantastic. I love to hear about the family dynamic in racing. Can you please give us an overview of Tooth and the role that it plays in motorsports?
So we're a customer racing team. We're based at Calabogie Motorsports Park, just outside of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. But we compete across North America in various sports car racing series. We take care of everything involved with a racing program. Our slogan is develop, build, support, drive. So we build cars, we store them, we manage the logistics, transport, crew, mechanical support, maintenance, engineering, driver coaching, pit stops, everything required to executing a successful motorsport program.
That's fantastic. What's the best way people can learn more about Tooth Autosport?
We have a website called toothautosport.com. We also have a Shopify store that you can go in through that. So all of our race cars are for sale, merchandise, some of our programs. But the website's really the biggest place to understand exactly what we do, the various services, and a lot of the different programs. We have a ladder system in-house where drivers start from simulator racing, just like we're doing with Operation Motorsport and iRacing, through Spec Miatas, Champ Car Endurance Racing, right up to the Audis and Radical Racing that we're doing on a national and international level right now.
That's incredible. How does Tooth provide support to Operation Motorsport?
We've been working with Tiffany and Diesel and everyone at Operation Motorsport since about 2017 or 2018. And we bring in multiple beneficiaries into our various racing programs. So obviously one of the big areas for Operation Motorsport is giving people an opportunity, these medically discharged servicemen and women, an opportunity to join a team, take on a role that either is similar to what their experience is or something completely different, but really allow them to engage with a racing team, get involved themselves, and try to build that new sense of purpose, or just make some friends while they're there. So Tooth Autosport's main role is just bringing people in there and then working with the program, trying to promote some of the services and some of the great things these guys are doing.
That's really great to hear, sir. is there anything that Tooth is looking forward to in 2022?
For 2022, it's already been a bit of an up and down year, but we were able to get 2 of the first Audi RS3 LMS TCR race cars. So that's Audi's TCR factory race car. We were able to get our hands on the first 2 in North America and have been able to do some testing with them. Our intention was to run Daytona in the next little while for the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series with IMSA. Unfortunately, with COVID-19 issues, we weren't able to make it to that. But we're really looking forward just to continue our program in the FEL series, more IMSA racing, getting into more of that North American endurance racing, and continue to grow the rest of our programs. We've got a lot of drivers that are really excited. We've got Operation Motorsport drivers that are starting to do their first races in real cars. So it's a nice succession plan from what we're seeing with you guys and with the iRacing series. So I think that's a really big part of 2022 for us, and something we obviously are near and dear to us and are excited about supporting.
That's incredible to hear about. Well, Travis, thank you for taking the time to join us on tonight's broadcasts, and we hope you enjoy tonight's race. Again, that is Travis Hill, the co-founder and team principal of Tooth Autosport.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Really excited to see tonight's race, and thanks for having me on.
Once again, that's Ryan Bauer speaking with Travis Hill. I'd like to thank Travis for taking the time to speak with us for tonight's action. Speaking of the action, the drivers are currently in the midst of their final few minutes of qualifying. And with that, let's get the chance to talk a little bit about some of the classes for tonight's action. Whether it's the Pro, the Open, or the Beneficiary class, there's plenty of racing action expected here. Rachel, talk us through these classes.
Absolutely. Well, top there is our beneficiaries in green. Those are the people Operation Motorsport is here to help. They're enrolled in any of their programs, and their participation costs are covered by RECARO and or by the USO if they are a serving military member. Now, we have the red Open class drivers. Now, they have an iRacing D-class minimum, and they are either serving military or a veteran who is not enrolled in an Operation Motorsport program. They're staff, volunteers, and or supporters of Operation Motorsport. And then we have our Pro class. They are either competition license holders, both past and present in things like IMSA, SRO, CTC, or other sanctioned bodies. They are either iRacing Class A road license and SR over 3.99 or a 1900 iRating or up. So the Pro class, of course, driving our prototypes tonight, and both the Open and beneficiaries in your GT3 cars. You'll see those denoted by the O and the B for beneficiary on the names, and or, of course, the colors of green and red.
And in turn, it's going to be intriguing how they battle about here at this racetrack tonight, especially with how some of the seasons have started. Keep in mind, there has been one name towards the top of the board for the beneficiary class, Matthew Smotherman, who's been very quick each and every time around. Is actually leading, in fact, in his car type as well. He was nearly, in fact, a full plus second quicker than the other drivers in practice. It is looking quick again in qualifying. A 1:36.7 the best time for Smotherman. That is a big advantage in that class, respectively. Taylor Parsons leads the Open class, has already finished qualifying the 1:37.9s. That's expected to be close today in terms of some of those times and some of how they battled out. Well, Chris Walsh did pick up his times compared to practice over Tyler Jomet, who dropped down to third in qualifying. Checkered flag already waving in the session. Intern Rachel, what should we keep an eye on for tonight? Your keys to victory here to win this one.
Well, the big keys for victory are getting turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 right. That first section there with the big right-hand 180 corner there through the first of the chicanes. That initial lap when the traffic is super packed up will be really critical. This track will punish you if you make a mistake. However, it's going to be consistency. The walls here will punish you, not just the Wall of Champions. There are quite a few out there, and they all want a piece of your car.
So down to the final minute, the last of the drivers taking the checker flag for this respective session. Tyrell Reed's putting in a time. Smotherman is also putting in another time to try and close out the session for the 84 machine. 1:36.7 is where that will end off for them. While Brian Winker currently trying to move up from his respective position in the 3:36. The 139.9s, in fact, to close out qualifying, but that was not enough to bump by a couple of the drivers in front. So down to the final minute before today's starting grid gets themselves underway for today's action. This should be exciting to say the very least, Rachel.
Absolutely will be. It's going to be a fantastic race. This series always amazing on track action, and this track always provides for exciting racing, so I cannot wait.
So these drivers getting themselves all buckled up and ready to go. They'll be making their way towards the starting grid in the next 10 seconds. We'd like to remind you that iRacing is also a major supporter of this respective series, with their support in the beneficiary class and one of the main sponsors of this action. Remember, they just brought out their full support a couple weeks before the start of the season. And now these drivers are ready for our round of action today. Let's start off with your starting grid for today as Chris Walsh starts on the pole today, a 127.5 in qualifying. Dave Hines jumped up to second compared to the 28 flat he put up in practice. Tarek Gilleneuve will start in third today. In fourth position today will be Egerchich, who will be starting alongside the 5. Martin Wallace starts in fifth today. Jason McSparron starts in sixth, with Campbell and Smotherman rounding out the top 7, top 8 should say, for today's 7th rounds out the pro class today. Smotherman leads the beneficiaries, then it's Parsons and Outzen rounding out your top 10 overall, Rachel.
11th place will be Jake Steinbrink in the open class, with Tyler Beamon in 12th. John Winker from the beneficiaries in 13th, with the USO number 1 car, one of the Knights there. I believe that is in fact going to be Brandon Knight in that car there. Branning Knight, sorry, I should say in 1. We have behind them Brian Winker, and then we come through to Jay Gleason in the open class, USO number 2, which is Brian Knight. Hunter Reeve from the beneficiaries with Chris Matthews in the open, Tyler Reed and Philippe Chartier in 21st in the beneficiaries.
Let's look top to bottom at the starting grid for today's action. And once again, for those picking up on that one, we do have 2 drivers in the USO machines today. Those will be Brandon Knight, who's in the USO NC1 machine. USO NC2 is being driven tonight by Brian Knight, who is the USO NC Center Operations and Program Manager. So a lot of people happy to see Papa Knight, as one put it, in the field tonight.
Absolutely, can't wait to see what he can pull out with this one. Great to have someone so central to USO really giving it some action tonight for this. But ready to go here. The pace car will lead us around this one, and this start's going to be fantastic.
The drivers getting themselves all buckled on in. The gridding sequence has been complete. Of note, Hunter Reeve did not make the starting grid. Reeve did not put any time in qualifying in the number 44. It's one of the drivers from the beneficiary class. So Walsh will control the pack onside Dave Hines to start things off towards the run. The wall of champions and Pastel on it, or making their way to the start and finish line. How will today fare out is the question. Montreal is all set to go for today's action. Here's one more look at the USO machines. All the drivers coming up to the start zone to begin the action today. Once more, it's time for the green flag to wave from Barney the Flagman. Opmo action is underway from Montreal.
Big runner for the Protos there from the Pro class into the first corner. Behind them, here come the GTs from both beneficiary and open into that huge section. Look at the camera there as we see the cars go flying around there as it's getting tire ready. One car goes wide from the front of your class. Could have been Parsons, I think, there, but the cars keeping it all on the track so far.
Very clean so far to begin the first few minutes of this one. 30 minutes up on the clock for tonight's action. Keep in mind that last time out for this series, when it came to the prototype machines, they had to take a fuel stop at Daytona. We'll see if that becomes a factor here in Montreal. As most of the drivers starting off strong with the rhythm, Smotherman keeping close with Taylor Parsons on behind, all while Walsh continues to lead at the very front of the field.
Yeah, he does. I don't think there's going to be any fuel stops tonight. That was more of a issue of the new Daytona and the setup that they had for that from iRacing. This will not be an issue tonight. There should not be any pit stops unless it is for damage repairs tonight. It will not be for fuel. These guys should be good to go to the very end of this race as This has been real clean so far. I'm impressed. This track has not consumed any victims.
And sometimes that can be the case with the attrition at this track, but these drivers playing cautiously so far, especially with the dangers that can come along with the tight confines around here. Coming to the final sector, here's a look at the battle going on amongst the top three in the open class. Parsons has pulled away, but Beeman has not. Steinbrink is keeping up, in fact. The number 60 trying to make a move. The Lamborghini up in front. The Porsche on behind, not able to get the run.
No, not quite yet. He's going to try to do something, probably in towards 2 and 3 will be the best opportunity for him, but you have to remember, this is a street circuit. This is actually public access roadways through most of the year. There are segments, of course, that are racetrack, but the majority of it is publicly accessible to the roads. So it is going to be one of those tracks where you're having to do these compromises where you can't set it up as much as you'd want to for the perfect racing lines. It is slightly tighter than some cars would like. Definitely with problems, but we have got some trouble showing, yeah.
Martin Wallace has spun around, and some of the drivers you just seen pass by him. The 666 is stuck at the side of the racetrack. This driver was 5th in the prototypes. Wallace has had the tow after this.
Oh, it's the classic. He just got the back end stepping out there out of that first chicane, put him around. He's actually okay. I think he towed more to get out of the way there. Getting turned around will be harder for him, but it's the classic. Get your back wheel a bit too far over on that curb, and round you go. No traction.
As that's all going on, by the way, there are battles starting to fare out for second, in fact, overall on the track. Once more, these prototypes, Heinz trying to hold on, pulling on by the number 5. Number 5 is your points leader in this respective class, keep in mind, entering today, and was the leader in the practice session. Looking like Tyler wants to get going, but just not able to get by quite yet. They've already lost 1.3 seconds to Walsh. There's a bit of a checkup there.
Yeah, slight. I think he just bottled a little bit too much in one of those corners. It just condensed the cars down. But here we go. Steinbrink looking at a position on the inside, maybe for the final chicane. Doesn't go for it. He steps back in line very wisely there. I think it was a little bit late to go for a move.
Let's look in the heart of the pack, meanwhile. John Winker, one of the beneficiary machines, currently second in that class, is trying to find a way around some of the USO machines. In fact, you see how deep some of the braking can be for Winker right now. Closed up 2 car lengths, that entry.
Yeah, went for something really good, but not quite ready there. Branding Knight, you see him there? Up ahead of the other USO car in the background, right at the back of that 4-car grouping here. It's just behind them. I think that was going to be Winker. The 07, I think, is in there. Yeah, we're looking at him now.
Yes.
That's John Winker from Beneficiaries coming to the second chicane here. Eyes on the back of that car as he gets really, really close. Oh my gosh, that was tight.
Looks like Winker wants to go, but just no space to do it. And this is one of the main talking points potentially tonight, Rachel. This is not an easy place to pass because the Casino Straits normally seems the best place. But outside of that, you have to be very brave to make a move.
Brave, or someone has to make a mistake, more importantly. The mistakes are where you pass the most at a track like this, and I think with cars running that closely, it will happen. Either someone will take the air off the back, or you make a mistake coming out this corner here, the hairpin number 10. That is one of the big places. People go too wide there, and you just take them at the start of the straight, but 13 has just had a wreck, I think I've just been told.
Yes, and it's involving one of the USO machines. He bounced off to the side of Brian Knight's car and sent both of them into the grass, and one of the S's turns 8 and 9, in fact. It's worth noting that Philip is your beneficiary driver spotlight. Let's take a look. He's trying to get himself gathered up. After this battle, you see, he was catching up a little bit here, Rachel. He was behind by more than a second after the start. Closed up. This was the closest car up the grid, and then it ended up having disaster in this entry.
Yeah, it did, unfortunately. It's one of those things that will happen sometimes in racing, but hey, you got to work your way around it sometimes. It's, oh yeah, a little bit of contact there, got a side by side, and not race ending, but not ideal either.
There are multiple fast repairs available for drivers. In fact, there is no limit on the machinery known as pressing a button to be able to get a new car. Chartier actually just missed the corner at the end of the racetrack as we see some of the better battles going on. So far, the 5 not looking the greatest, but you have Edgar Chich keeping up, in fact, trying to battle for a podium. And the Air Force Gaming machine nearly spins it.
Oh, he nearly caught himself some World of Champions right there. That was super close. Edgar Chich nearly had egg on his face.
take a look at this one more time, and you can see the very stylish paint scheme, and in turn, the curbs nearly bind his second driver in the first few minutes.
We're just hearing apparently that one of Mr. Knight's seniors or some of his co-workers are watching the stream tonight, and apparently Papa Knight is now going to be a thing at work, so we're not sorry. Not at all. Back
It wasn't...
forward with Egerton. There we go. Here's Papa Knight. There we go. Ah, sounds like Papa Smurf, but... Oh, that was Harry. Who was that? That would have been, I think...
That's Winker.
Winker from the beneficiaries. In fact, I believe that's that's second place for the beneficiary cars there. Well, that's a big loss. We'll watch the replay back here and see what happened, but he just went, wow, I didn't like the spotlight on
Yeah, that was an amazingly big send. I'm going to say this, Rachel. Look at this braking zone.
What braking? He didn't. Yeah, I think that was the problem. I think
there's...
Ooh, this car looks amazing. This livery is awesome. Oh, God, there's a braking corner there.
Yeah, let's take a look at this one more time. Is this a difference in the mark, or is this someone saying I'm going full commit?
Oh, that was avoiding a crash, I think, at that point. That was... I'm not sure whether Knight broke early or he broke late, but something was different.
Oh, and Winker is having problems, by the way, still getting himself going from all of that because he couldn't get across the turtles, and now he is broken the suspension completely.
Oh,
here's Egerchich, by the way. This is the battle going on for third.
This is close quarters for cars that go this fast. This is a tight racetrack and cars that go this quickly. This is like watching the Death Star trench run with X-Wings. Oh my God, passing GT cars at the same time there. I believe that was Chartier there on the outside. They just went past. But oh my gosh, Chris Walsh is absolutely hammering it, and that is, wow. This one is going very, very close to the wall here. Hines putting the pressure on really, really a lot right now.
Yeah, some good battling amongst the top spots now. Traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. Let's put it that way when it comes to some of the traffic battles, as Egerchich now tries to build up a run again for the third spot. How does the 5 defend? How about down the Casino Straight, sticking to the right side of the track, trying to force the 86 to go the long way around this time? More speed for Egerchich, though, to pull alongside, 3 miles an hour quicker, but Egerchich not wanting to commit to the run through the wall of champions as Tyler Neary joins it.
Yeah, that got really, really, really close. I think wasn't he would have liked to have seen, but this is one of those big payoffs here of trying to make a pass in this location. Oh, dives in super, super hard, catches a lot of curve, goes sideways. Oh, he got so close. That was unbelievably close. There was Eurobeat music playing in the background as he drifted across that curve.
As you can expect, that spot has been swapped because of guess why. Meanwhile, Brian Winker, well, he had to let up and get yourself back into the throttle essentially off the corner, right, Rachel? So you can't just...
No, I was just asking the stupid question, because I mean, you asked the stupid question, I get the stupid answer. That's the whole gig, right? I confused
race cars. Meanwhile, battles are going on. Tyrell Reed is amongst this. How about the US own car knocking the wall down?
Well, eventually, if enough of them hit it, they will in fact knock it down. So there is some merit to that theory.
Yes, indeed. No damage, though, you see, with that zoom in underneath the rear wing of Tyrell Reed. 2 open cars continuing to scrabble and scrap here. Again, Brandon Knight now to the inside. Reed with the door back shoves him out of the way as Brian Winker nearly spins it.
You know what? This is great racing here. The wheel-to-wheel GT action tonight is on a par I don't think we've seen this season. This is exciting. I mean, Smotherman has cleared off, of course, because that's what Smotherman does, but these guys are wheel-to-wheel. This is all the open-class drivers here, but they are having an absolute blast. Here we go. Matt Smotherman, of course, representing the Army, of course, is just miles ahead right now. He's just forging his own path in this race. Can anyone stop this guy is going to be the topic of the season. He has got 8 seconds on Parsons, who is leading the open class. The next beneficiary tonight is actually... Oh, wow, we actually haven't got many beneficiaries tonight. That is Chartier.
Yeah. Who was involved in some of the trouble earlier.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, though, that some of these drivers are still making their way around drivers such as Chartier with the traffic. You see the flames coming out. Trouble for Dave Hines. He is punted. 2 cars off the track. Reed, along with one of the Knights, is into the tire wall.
Trying to work out who that was there, but I think that's the number 2 car, which would make it US number 1. That is Papa Knight there.
No, that's Branning who's in the USO1 car, remember. Here's the send again.
Yeah, that is. It's the younger of the Knights just decided to end up in a ditch, but this will happen when multi-class racing. You got multiple cars taking different lines and speeds to a corner. Conflict will occur.
This is what happens when you have to deal with traffic management. Absolutely huge. And there's always a risk when, yes, you're trying to battle for your own position there, Rachel, in that class specifically, but when you have faster cars, you need to make some space at the same time.
You really do. It's one of those big considerations. In fact, the biggest part of multi-class racing is not how to get past, how to pass. It's how to race around each other. It's how to have that should we say, the manners to read the different lines these cars are going to take and read the lines you need to take versus a car that's faster than you. So it's about understanding that traffic. If you can do that, you will be fantastic. It's not enough to just be fast.
Already past the first 10 minutes or so, already quickly approaching halfway. Look at the 5 machine. It's not been the prettiest night for this car, keep in mind. The New England Club driver in the service is going to now have to dodge Chris Matthews, who elects to let cars go by driving his Air Force gaming machine to the grass. But outside of that, this is one of the closer battles on the racetrack currently. These two not backing down. However, they have been holding each other up whenever they've been scrapping like they have.
Honestly, I don't think they're really worrying about Mr. Hines, who's battling Chris Walsh up there. These guys have got a bit of their own battle, Guillemette and Egacic. They're just doing their own thing here. They're having a great time, I think, and I expect both drivers have massive grins on their faces right now as they take this to the wheel on the track. And it's fantastic racing. It's fantastic viewing, in fact.
Here comes the run once again, though. Will there be an error send? How about a little contact? To the inside again for third spot. The 5 moves up once more into third.
Yeah, he does, but they've been swapping back and forth so much. This is going to be one of those things that will happen, I think, quite a few times before this is over. But we are approaching our halfway point here. In another minute, we'll be at that exact point in this race. But this has been phenomenal racing. Oh, on the dirt as he goes past. Oh, I would be terrified if I was at a GT car. Absolutely terrified.
That is Thomas Alpsen in one of the Resilience racing machines. They drove to the left of that car to try and cut through the grass to pass them. They'll pass by Tyler Beeman, who moves to the left side. Some very scary moves, let's put it that way, as the Matt Sim racing car lets them on by and closes these two back up.
Oh yeah, this is definitely great racing here. Loving what we're seeing. This is just... You love these moments where it's just constant tight battling, and all the cars around them having to try and deal with this too, as through he comes there. Egacic, chasing down that car of Guillemette here, trying to get that position back. I think he'll have a chance for the draft, though. It might be harder. The GT cars do provide a bit of a tow, but not much. Yeah, they're too close there to try and go for a move as they arrive at the corner. He's tight there beside the GT car. Through they'll come, making it go. A bit of a slide there by Guillemette.
So as these drivers continue to separate out a little bit now with all this battling, let's take the time to once again talk a little bit about the driver we mentioned was your beneficiary driver spotlight for tonight, Phil Chartier, who's been having an adventure. He did, however, join the Navy back in 2003 right out of high school and became a CB, which is the Navy Construction Force, which he said, I never saw time on a ship. I was an equipment operator using the big heavy construction machinery. He was a petty officer, second class, and served from 2003 to 2010 and was stationed in Mississippi. First deployment was a quarry off the coast of California. Then in 2005, when Hurricane Katrina hit, was then deployed to Iraq. He turned 21 overseas, then went to Kuwait back in 2007. While 2008 and 2010 was in the recruiting world. He loved his time in Iraq, where things were simple, he said. To stay alive and do his job. He learned a lot and had some crazy times. He never got to have as much action as he wanted to, but when he took mortar fire and sniper fire more often, he said he had that happen more than he'd like to admit. He completed his master's degree actually this past spring as well and earned a football national championship ring as an equipment manager in 2018 and is currently working at an aftermarket company for Ford Mustang Performance Parts in South Georgia. In turn, he's happy with iRacing giving him something to look forward to and competitive by nature, and this gives him a new challenge to get his mind off the daily world besides seeing his significant other every day. Once again, Phil Chartier, your beneficiary driver spotlight for tonight. With that, let's run quickly through the field right now as things shake out with under 13 minutes approaching now on the clock. Once again, Chris Walsh is your overall leader, prototype leader as well in the pro class. That's a 4-second gap now for Dave Hines, who is dealing with a bit of that damage from that contact with those two open class drivers. The number 5, Matt is in 3rd spot, with Egerchich in 4th position after their big brawl. They've separated out to about a second apart. Rodney Campbell, meanwhile, has had a very quiet day. The Chief Astronaut machine is looking very solid and does have a picture, I believe, maybe of Rachel above the Chief Astronaut tagline. And then in 6th position is Jason McSparrow. Either way, things are settled on. Yes, look at that helmet.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Really. Once again, Rodney Campbell is in 5th in front of McSparrow.
Yeah, that is me in a race car in a space helmet. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's the first time we've seen that.
Martin Wallace, by the way, is closing out the class in 7th. Back to you, Rachel, now for the open and the beneficiary classes.
Yeah, there we go. With the open and beneficiaries, Matt Smotherman leading the way in your beneficiaries with Taylor Parsons in 1st for the open class. Behind him is Jake Steinbrink with Tyler Beeman and Thomas Oateson, Chris Matthews, Brian Winker, and Jay Gleason with Martin Wallace from the pros all the way back there after some incidents. Tyler Reed, and then it's the 2 knights for the open class, sandwiching Philippe Chartier from the beneficiaries, and then we have John Winker and Hunter Reeve, who I believe at the moment has actually not turned a lap. No, he turned 2 laps before he retired tonight, so it's been a bit of a rough night for the beneficiary class. I think they got lost in Quebec. Maybe they found some of the fantastic French-Canadian food out there. Maybe they're all off having poutine, which is totally worth it, by the way. I'm still I'm still trying to handle the fact that my face is on a race car right now. So, that was really close. Oh my gosh.
Well, this run through the field continues to get some crazy twists and turns itself, and just when things are calming down, the field decides, okay, it's time to lock it up and scare one of the open class cars. I think that was an open car.
And Gilliamat, yeah,
that's Tyler Reed again, who was hit already, Rachel.
Oh, yeah, okay. So he was all being terrified by Gillimat and Egerchich. So yeah, those two are still going at this one pretty hardcore here. I think the battle for 3rd place is really hotting up on this one.
So either way, it's exciting to say the very least against Smotherman, the beneficiary leader. For those who looking to keep track, Chartier 2 laps down is 2nd in that class. John Winker 3rd. Hunter Reeve did not take the green. Parsons, Steinbrink, Beeman, Outson, Matthews, the top 5 in open. Brian Winker, Jay Gleason, USO NC2. Once again, that is Papa Knight. Rounded out the field in that class with Brady Knight. Once again, run through the field in what has taken an adventurous turn or 3 throughout that single run through the field. Under 10 minutes to go on the clock. Will these drivers be able to keep themselves on the track and wait for the 10 minutes before they throw the map into the river?
Oh, they're not going to wait. They're keeping going here. They're taking the tour of this island, and they are going for a swim at some point, I suspect. Someone's going to try and get over that fence. Oh, big wall slap there by Gillimat, as he might have shown his first crack in his armor here. Can Egerchich find a way through this one? Can he crack the shell of Gillimat? Too many egg puns. I'm sorry. I'm exaggerating quite a bit right now. I'm being told by my producer there are never too many egg puns, so I will keep going with more.
Oh, nearly to the wall of champions goes Egerchich. Able to just avoid it, though. Maybe just grazed it. No damage on either of these cars from their visits to the walls.
Yeah, they're all leaving their mark on this one. I'm pretty sure everybody here wants to leave some sort of mark on that wall. It'll be impressive if anyone can write their name on the Wall of Champions. Please, at some point, attempt it. I'd love to see the results.
Checking back in on Elton, he's now reeled in Tyler Beeman, and it's been a quiet night so far for Beeman. Remember, Beeman entered tonight in this respective open class with a 4-point advantage over Taylor Parsons. Steinbrink was third in the points. This is a big chance for Elton to gain some ground in those standings, especially since he did not make the start last time.
Yeah, it really is, and I'd love to see what he can do with that to shake this one up for him, but at the moment it's about keeping this car running, and Odson he's in a reasonably good spot, but it's fourth. He could try and get that spot and maybe put back a podium tonight for the open class. That'll be his goal, I think, is third place, best he can really look at with the timing, but it's definitely a tough track to pass, and we know that already. It is going to be a mistake, I think, by Steinbrink that will give him that if it happens.
Lead so far. Keep in mind, Parsons and Steinbrink are starting to get close together again. Egerchich is now losing ground after nearly hitting the Wall of Champions the last time around. 6 estimated laps to go with the drivers into the Laura P217s. Then when it comes to the drivers who are running the respective beneficiary and open class machines, they're currently having an estimate about 5 laps or so to go. Here comes Elton now cutting his way through traffic. Passing right on by that time, one of the nights that is Papa Night. They just drove on by on the left side.
Yeah, they did, and right now it's just going to be holding these cars in line. Here we go with the one of the Knight boys in the USO machines, trying to get this thing running through. Here's the other Knight, the Knight Senior. Yep. Oh, as a prototype comes from the inside, nearly very tightly moved there, but give each other room.
Your contact there indeed as they keep themselves clean. Keep in mind when it comes to this USO NC machines, they're running with 2 sim rigs at the USO North Carolina Fayetteville location. Quick hands meanwhile for the number 86.
Yeah, really going for this now, and these two still at it. Are these guys going to take a breather at any point? Oh my gosh, they're all over each other and terrifying the entire GT field in the process, as they are still not done yet. Here's Martin Wallace, 7th overall in your prototype class. Going through the GT cars here. A 666 machine is looking for an opportunity.
Oh, that was close with Martin Wallace. Wallace now within a car length there. That builds up a buffer, though, between them and Beeman. Steinbrink not making it easy at all for the 666 to make a move. Wallace, in fact, I think is trapped now behind him.
Yeah, I think he is stuck there right now, but he's got to try and find an opportunity. He's got through there, but this is one of those things, those chicanes will delay you as a prototype car. If you get to them at the wrong time, you will be held up. There is no way to too wide through the first and second ones there. They are just awkward corners. That's best left single filers. Oh, that was going to be, I think,
Chartier,
yeah, that was Chartier's car, and he just dumped that thing. Oh my gosh.
Well, there's a tagline, go fast, don't die on the back bumper, and unfortunately that machine taking a hard hit to the Armco nearly came up into the battle for position.
Didn't follow his own instructions.
By the way, the prototype traffic's finally gone and by. Wallace again last in class. Only one more driver non-class wise there is to pass, where he moves up to 7th overall on track. Beeman meanwhile in turn has regathered up some ground back on Steinbrink with this close battle. Taylor Parsons, keep in mind, is just above a second up the track. This fight could go towards the end if Parsons starts to make mistakes.
I think it really will. It's the opportunity he's going to have in this race. But it's been, I think everyone's getting quite tired. This track is actually exhausting. It's a really intensive track for the drivers, but it is fun. But after a while, you will start to make little deviances, and they're getting so close to the end now. I think the cracks are showing.
It also depends on how these two fare out here. Keep in mind, Steinbrink, Beeman, Outson is also within 1 second of this as well. If they fight for too long, or at all, Rachel, really, that holds them up for any time, Parsons may have that insurance to pull away. If, in turn, they work together to catch up to Parsons fully, then it's game on possibly for the final 3.5 laps.
I think it could be. I think that's the opportunity they're going to have to go for, but it's going to be difficult to find the opening, I think, at that point, but it's going to have to be a drag race if they do.
I have to see if it ends up coming down to the drag race. There have been a few close moments here in the history of this racetrack, especially when it comes to the stock car races. Remember some of the first moments here at the track for that side of things?
Oh, side by side.
Drag race involving Boris Set and Company. Speaking of drag races, how about the drag race now into the hairpin? The Pengo.
Egajic side by side here. Villeneuve up the inside. Can he hold on to it? The faster line might be there for the outside. For Egajic. Can he do that? He has. He's through. Yeah, he's held it.
What a move by Egerchich, yes. A good pass. He picked up nearly a full second last time as well, Rachel, before the pass. But here comes the draft. No move on guard from the number 5 with 3 to go.
Oh, this is top tier stuff for these two. These have been putting on a masterclass in racecraft between the two of each other all race long, and it's been non-stop. Randy, oh, big dive. Here he comes. Villeneuve going for a move around the outside of turn 2. What are you doing, you crazy man? Holds onto it somehow. They are still side by side here. This is stunning stuff. I love it. Oh, dives him in. Oh, he cuts the nose off and he holds the position. What a move.
How did they make that? Egerchich nearly got his nose cut off in the corner. Back single file they go through 6 and 7. Here comes the run to the outside now for the 86. The 5 gives the space back. Egerchich with the move. 2.5 laps to go for this class.
Yeah, honestly, this has been amazing racing time from everybody involved in this thing. Jason Leach, series organizer, did mention something about that, and I agree fully. Yeah, this track is brutal. And these guys racing on this track is a whole different machine. It's a whole different world. And they are doing a phenomenal job of sharing this track space together and doing it in the best way possible. This track will claim victims. Whether you intend to or not, there will be accidents. There have been tonight. But I've not seen any stupidity. I've not seen any greedy moves. They've been doing a wonderful job. As here come once again our battling duo of Villeneuve and Egajic. And this is just nutty. Those poor GT cars will be terrified as these two come flying through here. As once again through the final corner. Will anybody get a slap on? Oh, everyone's sliding so much now with these tires, but it is so good.
Down to 2 estimated laps to go, that time by the stripe, expecting the white flag this time. Chris Walsh still leads in the pro class by 4 seconds, but this is the battle going on involving the open cars for spots on the podium. You have Beeman, Steinbrink, Outson still battling. Parsons has actually gained a ton of ground this time as a result of having to let by those prototypes. So right now, it's the battle for second in class in line here with about 1 minute and 15 seconds to go in the clock.
Oh, this has been breathtaking racing. I've loved this. After the calamity of Daytona with the track that was just updated, drivers not quite sure how the track races, setups being weird. This race is just phenomenal. Top tier Operation Motorsport stuff. These guys are putting on a wonderful show for us, and I'm going to sound quite a few of the beneficiaries missed tonight. I think they got lost trying to find more poutine, but this track leads to some amazing racing. You've got to be careful, which I think takes that little notch of a % or 2 off people's driving craziness, and they just get racy. And this is so good.
Expecting Barney the Flagman to wave the white this time. Walsh is making his way towards the wall of champions. Here he is right here. Expecting the white this time for Walsh, who has dominated the pro class today. All 19 laps led so far his direction. They passed by the start and finish line, 22 seconds on the clock that time by. Expecting this to be the final time around. We'll get the confirmation in just a moment. Meanwhile, here comes Steinbrink, trying to make his way through that same section and hitting the wall.
Oh, got a bit of a slap there. Someone had to do it. No one's written their name yet. They've all started got the initial letters and definitely the punctuation, but no one's actually managed to get the whole thing yet. So I'm sure someone will try. But through we come, turn 1, turn 2. Through the wheel they'll come. Love that first section of the track. It's so fast but flowy. There's the beautiful Coast Guard machine there. Love seeing that in the race.
Yeah, they've put on some great battles, and keep in mind, it's still not done with the traffic management for your overall race leader in Walsh. Walsh able to get himself clear through some of that traffic. Outside of a little bit of that management, Rachel, it's been pretty calm for Walsh. He pulled away from Dave Hines in the midst of that first or 2 cycles of traffic management to lead as much as 4 seconds.
Oh yeah, he really has, and it's been a great job, but just want to comment on something right here. Could you take a look at that green name on the stats list there? Yeah, look at the time behind him, 19 seconds. What are you doing? Is he the third class that no one told us about? Like, that's ridiculous. 19 seconds.
Meanwhile, Chris Walsh blinks the lights. He wins it in Montreal. Meanwhile, the beneficiary class goes the direction of Matt Smotherman. He wins by a whopping 19 seconds in his car type. But for Taylor Parsons, the Canadian flag proudly on that machine. For Parsons, he led his open class the majority of the night. The 620 closes it out with a victory at his home country track.
Oh, what a run. A fantastic race from these guys tonight. Here we come with Chartier coming across the line. He's sort of approaching the final corner, I should say, but this has been a rough race for some of these guys, but it's been the track that's done it. So the McLaren farts some flame there. Through the final chicane he'll come and come across the line for, I believe, second place there for Chartier of the veteran, the beneficiary class, I should say. Veterans on the front of his car. Here comes the USO number 2, and the USO, oh, there we go, a USO 2x2. Love to see that.
Papa Knight beats Brenny Knight to the stripe to close out that class at the finish line. 2 more drivers yet to cross the stripe, make it 1. Martin Wallace rounds out the prototypes. In the pro class, all drivers have completed their runs to the stripe. Very exciting, let's put it that way. For tonight's action here in Montreal, post-race coverage coming up right after this. Welcome back to Podium Esports coverage of Operation eMotorsport Action, presented by RECARO, as it's time to take a look at your race results after an exciting race from Montreal. Chris Walsh took home the victory in the pro class tonight with Dave Hines in second. Then it was Egerchich in third position to round out the podium. Tyler Guillemette started around the top 5, finished in 4th, with Rodney Campbell, a special paint scheme with Rachel Whiteford on the machine, finishing in 5th. Jason McSparron rounded out the top 6 in the lead lap drivers for the class. Martin Wallace, after early troubles in a tow, finished 1 lap down in the pro class. Rachel.
Certainly did, of course. And then we have Matt Smotherman winning your beneficiary class tonight, with Tyler Parsons winning the open class, with Tyler Beaumont in second for the open class. And behind them, Jake Steinbring third, with Thomas Odson fourth, Chris Matthews fifth, Brian Winker sixth, Jake Leeson seventh, Tyler Reed eighth, Joel Winker is second in your beneficiary class, with Chartier in third, and then I believe it is 9th and 10th, the USO 2 and 1s, with Papa Knight beating out Branning Knight. Behind them, Hunter Reeve in the 21st overall place and 4th in the beneficiaries.
That's on top to bottom at the running order for tonight, as we get the chance to speak with your beneficiary winner tonight, Matt Smotherman. Ran away from the pack by about 19 seconds. Matt, how does it feel to be an alien?
It feels good. It feels really good.
How challenging was this racetrack for you, or should I say, what types of challenges did you face while pulling away from the pack?
So the track itself is surprisingly technical. It's like this weird combination of road course and street track, and specifically those big giant sausage curbs right there at each of the different chicanes. If you don't hit those things right, you're going to lose a lot of time, and if you hit them wrong, you're going to end up in a wall. And so there's just the focus just becomes do the best you can, don't lose concentration, don't be that guy who just spins his car out while you're in the lead and then, just tosses the entire race into a corner.
Now, so far, very dominant, let's put it that way, with this campaign, but the next time out, VIR, and that will be in the month of February the 1st. Your thoughts on going to that facility to start the closing stretch with VIR, Watkins Glen, Sebring to close out the season?
VIR especially is a track that I really, really enjoy when I get it right. It's a really fun track to get right, but it's a track that will absolutely punish you. And if you find yourself going too wide, too hot into a turn, or maybe going through the S's and you are not used to losing your downforce because you're following somebody, and then you find yourself going wide, you're going to end up in the grass and you're just going to be lawn mowing for days. So it's a good challenge, but I'm looking forward to those.
On that note, anyone you want to thank for tonight's run?
I think my wife. My wife's been taking care of me. She's been doing a great job, and I think if she's watching, shout out to her. I love her.
Congratulations on the victory tonight, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Once again, Matt Smotherman coming away with a dominant victory in the beneficiary class. That brings up our second place driver in the class, one of the Resilience Racing machines. It's John Winker, who had an adventure, Rachel.
Yeah, it certainly is. John coming home today with second place overall there. Just how was this tricky track for you tonight?
Well, it was pretty tricky. I got very limited practice, and I was only operating with one hand this evening due to a carpal tunnel surgery on Wednesday last week.
Oh, that's going to suck. Did that affect your driving much?
No, I actually didn't get any practice in before jumping into practice this evening.
Making it all the more impressive then, I guess. Well, John, of course, you represent the Army, I believe, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So congratulations, putting 2 points on the board for the Army in tonight's score, of course, coupling with Mr. Smotherman, bringing the Army up to a whopping 17 so far this season. It has been a very green season from what we've had so far. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank?
Definitely just would like to thank Operation Motorsport for putting these on, and RECARO and iRacing as title sponsors, along with the USO for the series. Then, of course, Resilience Racing and our title sponsors, Skip Barber Racing School and Redline Synthetic Oil.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And, of course, go check out those wonderful sponsors of this series and the team themselves. Also, tell us a little bit about Resilience Racing, please.
Yes, so Resilience Racing is a veteran service organization. We are developing hand controls to get drivers with lower limb issues, amputees specifically, behind the wheel on a real racetrack.
That is awesome to hear about, actually. I believe you mentioned this last week in the interview, but definitely something I think is a really amazing thing to bring to people that allows racing to be accessible to more people, which is always better.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, John Winker, coming home today in second place.
Thank you.
And last but not least, I believe we have Philip Chartier coming up to talk to Justin.
Yes, indeed. And it was an interesting one for you tonight. Phil, first things first, talk us through the race from your perspective, especially with some of the intriguing moments you had in that 13.
Well, still trying to get a handle on what I'm doing here, actually, but just trying to stay out of the grass and stay out of everybody's way and just kind of get better every week.
Now, let's talk about your service. What branch did you represent, as you were the spotlight driver? It mentioned the Navy. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was a Navy CB, doing the construction force. And never saw a ship. I got to drive like all the bulldozers, dump trucks, things like that. Built some aircraft pads when we were in Iraq and some hangars. And I even got to play with some excavators and tear down a building on the base I was at.
An interesting experience, absolutely. And we mentioned during the spotlight, you also earned your master's in the spring. In fact, also earned the football national championship ring. Is that correct, as an equipment manager?
Sir, over here down in South Georgia, Valdosta State University, Division II football school. I was the head equipment manager for a few years, and in 2018 we went undefeated, got to go to the championship game, and won that in exciting fashion at the end of the game. And my wife was actually my assistant, so we both got championship rings that year for it, and we both got our masters last spring. And so, yeah, living life.
Before Justin actually comes back to you, Philip, I want your reaction to the fact you are the first man to put points on the board for the Navy tonight. In fact, I believe so far in the last 2 seasons, you are the first point for the Navy on the board for the Inter-Service Championship. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good. Even though we didn't really have too many in the beneficiary class tonight, I will definitely take the points where I can. Of course, always want to show that the Navy can be better than the rest. Just got to work on proving it now, but I'm pretty excited and pretty happy that I got to be the first one.
Before we let you go, because of this monumentous occasion, the Navy finally getting a point, what should we dock points from the Space Force for tonight?
I mean, it's the Space Force.
Valid reason, minus 20 points.
I'm good with that.
Back to you, Justin.
Let's swing things back to anyone you want to thank for your run specifically tonight.
Well, I know the first gentleman tonight, he had mentioned his wife, and I would say the same. She supports everything I do. She helps keep me going, helps give me purpose, and pretty much if I'm really wanting to try something, she does help push me to actually try it instead of just kind of sitting around and having that sedentary type of lifestyle that I had for a few years. So I do definitely appreciate everything she's done and help with pushing me to do new things.
Congratulations on the podium in the class today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for all that y'all do.
Philip Chartier rounds out the podium for the beneficiaries. Like to thank Philip along with Matt, as well as John, for their time to speak with us here for this one. And Rachel, your thoughts on how things played out here tonight in Montreal?
A fantastic race on a very tricky track that presented unique challenges to these guys, giving us a wonderful outing in Montreal this evening. And before we do actually go, mention our season points so far, I did say Navy have a point finally. Army are currently standing at 17, miles ahead of everybody else. They just might be great, who knows. The Navy are on 1, and the Air Force is on 6. The Marines, for the first time, are on 0. The Space Force, of course, is on minus 100, and we're giving the Coast Guard 20 points for that gorgeous livery.
Yes, indeed. And just out of curiosity, for Rodney Campbell, is there going to be bonus points for that, for putting you in the car?
Negative points.
Okay.
How much was Campbell? Don't know, he's a different category, wasn't he? Does he have a branch he represents? I'm docking them points for that. Unless it's the Army.
We'll let you sort that out. Either way, this series is presented by RECARO. Whether it's on the track or iRacing, RECARO Automotive is all about making the driving safer, more comfortable, and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. RECARO Automotive puts people first every time. An ergonomic sitting position means a comfortable position. With perfect seating contours and innovative features that support your body, RECARO Automotive makes driving fun, be it on the road or on the racetrack. RECARO Automotive makes driving fun. And their performance seats are more than just a set of components. They pursued innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. For more info, visit their website at www.recaro-automotive.com. Recaro Automotive is proud to support Operation eMotorsports iRacing.
Speaking of them, Operation Motorsport is a veteran-led and operated non-for-profit based in Brighton, Ontario and Raleigh, North Carolina, serving Canadian and American service members and veterans, and was founded on the basis of 3 simple words: excite, engage, and empower. The premise is to engage ill and injured service members and veterans affected by military service through motorsport activities to aid in their recovery and rehabilitation. To find out more information, please visit operationmotorsport.org. That is operationmotorsport.org.
We'd also like to take the time to thank the sponsor who helps support today's action in Tooth Auto Sport, as well as the USO, for their support of today's action here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. But we'd also like to thank overall the Operation eMotorsport iRacing League, RECARO Automotive, iRacing, the USO, and Mobile One. For Jason Leach, Diesel Lotto, along with Chris Ramirez and the entire Operation Motorsport team, for Ryan Bauer, James Pike, Cisco Scaramuza, and John Theodore at Podium Esports. For our producer Ryan Bauer, our camera builder Dougie Beard, Cameron Oberon on social media, and for my colleague this evening, Rachel Whiteford, my name's Justin Prince. Thank you so much for watching tonight's action of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Winter League by RECARO, and we hope to see you Tuesday, February the 1st, live from iRacing's virtual VIR. We'd like to thank you for watching, whether on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you next time.